Crime in South Africa has been truly challenging, and at the moment we're seeing our highest murder rate that we've had in the last 20 years. That's really bad news for South Africans and for communities. And of course, as everybody knows, that crime is not spread evenly across all areas. A handful of stations, 13, 14, 15 of the stations out of the 60 plus stations in Cape Town bear the brunt of those crime statistics, especially the violent crime. So as a consequence of seeing steadily reducing SAPS numbers, keeping in mind we were meant to have nationally around, in 10 years ago, around 120,000, 150,000 staff. We only had 120,000. We're now supposed to have closer to 190,000. We have actually gone backwards. Nationally, there are now 90,000 SAPS members too few. So we have just over 105,000 SAPS members. That's a very substantial deficit in the total policing numbers, and that causes great pain in communities. Sadly, also those deficits are worst in your worst police stations. 9 out of the police station in Cape Town are on the top 30 worst stations in the country, and their numbers are 500 and above residents to a officer, well above what they should be, well outside of international best practice, and that's where much of the challenges to these communities come from. So the province and the city jointly initiated the LEAP intervention, the Law Enforcement Advancement Program, primarily funded by province but also contributions from the city and managed by the city. Within our law enforcement staff, there are municipal peace officers with expanded powers that were expanded in 2018 by the national minister, and these officers are really contributing to substantial outcomes. Aside from obvious statistics like the 700 plus firearms we've taken off the streets in less than 2 years, here in Delft we have seen a very remarkable, some very remarkable improvements in our murder rate of late. In many of the LEAP suburbs over the last period, over the last 2 years, we've seen steady decreases. Not every quarter consistently, some quarters that will go up a little bit, but overall the trend has been downwards attractively. In Gugulethu, in Kraaifontein, in Khayelitsha, many of these stations, including Nyanga, have seen steady reductions over time, so that overall their crime rates are down between 30 and 5%, most of them around the 15% or so reduction. And keep in mind, this is at a time when crime in South Africa over the last 3 years is up 14%. So to get a reduction while the rest of the country going up is quite significant. And the latest crime stats, which are not out yet, but which we can estimate by looking at the results of the statistics from the provincial forensic pathology labs, is likely to show a reduction in murder rate by about 30%. That is very, very hard to achieve and is truly a feather in the cap. We will keep on doing more of this because communities like Delft deserve a breather. They deserve a better quality of life. They deserve a safer community that allows for people to have normal, safe lives, for people to get to school and get to work without fear, and for investment and businesses to flourish so that life in Delft can be better for everyone who lives here. And that is our goal, that is our commitment. We want to be a city of hope for all of our residents. That includes communities like Delft, and we are working very hard to make it happen. And I want to say thank you for LEAP to these members who you saw now, who are making that happen every day.